I'm going to record this. Okay. So, just to start, I was going to share like why we're going to do this and like what it's going to look like. But one thing I've just kind of as a goal for the year, and I kind of shared this, I think in a live video, was just wanting to be more consistent with coaches, because sometimes it's hard when I like plan it and then different people schedule, but I'm just like, as me, I want to stay devoted to like this, even if no one comes, like come and just share something, record it and share it with everyone. But to try to be consistent with it and not try to match everyone's schedule or things like that.
Can you tell me where's the computer paper?
Okay, I don't need it right now.
The printer?
Sorry, hang on. Okay, perfect. Thanks. Okay, thank you. And so that's like, and with this, I feel like it's going to be helpful just to chat together once a week, to be encouraged, you know, if people, one thing I've noticed when I get up early and I like start my day with something like this, it helps me to be successful that day. It helps to like get my mind right during the week. It's encouraging. And so I want this to be like a time of encouragement for us, a time of sharing where we are, what we're doing with the business, so that we can get encouraged or even like get ideas from each other. And so that's kind of what it's going to be. And it's going to be super laid back, like, you know, kids walking in and babies trying to go to sleep or whatever. But I mean, I'll talk or we'll share like goals or things like that. And that's what we're going to do today, just kind of share some goals. And so that's kind of just like, I guess, vision for what I want this to be. And it can evolve throughout the year. But so every Monday at 6. And also just wanting like kind of something I feel like I think it was after talking to you, Jamie, I was like, you said how the Lord like was showing you how to use your giftings with Beachbody. And I just like, that was so powerful to me, because like, I think that's important. Like I'm a huge like gifts person, like spiritual gifts person. Like what are we, you know, naturally inclined to? What does the Lord gift us with and how can we use that? And believing it has so much power in how we impact the world. And so wanting to like encourage all the coaches to like really think like, what are my giftings and how can I use it? And what does that look like in my business? And really lead with that. And I feel like something, it's kind of annoying actually, personally, but for me in my like, even just spiritual life and business life, like how to see those two merge has been a slow progression. And it's annoying that it's been so slow, I feel like. And I don't know why it's been slow, but I feel like sometimes with the platform on social media, it's been hard to like, I guess because I just started out like blogging years ago and then like had to realize like it all goes together, because I am a believer and like it's such a big part of my life. Like it's not separate, you know, but like how to merge those together and like even like lead my challenge groups like with more of a spiritual emphasis. That's important to me. And I feel like kind of learning how to do that and like what that looks like and like how much do people want me to like lead them spiritually when it's really a fitness group, you know. But I want to encourage like our team to think like, what are my gifts and how is the Lord calling me to use those? Or like, what is my vision for my business and how does it look for me and leading people and encouraging and impacting people? So I don't know. That's just something I want to encourage all the coaches to do, is like think about their gifts, think about what the Lord's like calling them into as far as their vision for this, and then like go with that with their business and let that lead us in 2019. But, and that's funny, I just said lead us, because I don't know if I've told you this, Jamie, but have I told you about the Devo, she works his way?
Yeah.
Okay. I love it. It's like so simple, and it's just a simple way to like, if you're like struggling to like get it in the mornings, you know, like spend time with the Lord, even just like spend a little bit of time on that, you know, it takes you like less than 5 minutes to read it. But today it was talking about like letting him lead us. And I love that it says, God wants to go before us. He wants to lead you. He wants you to seek him first. But in the end, it's our choice whether we choose him or ourselves. It's our choice. His love wouldn't be his love if he didn't give us a choice. Love requires choice, which I love that, because even in parenting, I'm always teaching my kids choice. And so, but it's just so good. And I don't know, and if you don't like it on your phone, they have a book with all their Devos in it, which is cool. I haven't bought it because I'm fine with it on my phone for now. But I don't know. I just think it's good. And I love that it's like focused on business a lot of times. It's just kind of helpful to have that.
Yeah.
But anyways, I wanted to share that, but then we can go into kind of sharing where we're at or some questions I have for the year. But do you have anything with what I just said?
I mean, that's so good. And even like, so Saturday and Sunday, Saturday we had pretty sick kiddos and didn't get very much sleep. So I decided I'm not going to work out. I'm going to do my Saturday workout on Sunday. And so I didn't post anything. And then Sunday ended up pushing the workout back. And I didn't get it again. And so I was just like discouraged, like, Lord, I wanted to go for Beachbody. And personally, like, I want to be all in or nothing. Like, I'm giving it all I got or I'm not. And that's just how I roll. And so it's like, Joey was like, what's wrong? Or like something shifted. Are you okay? And then it's just like, I'm just like, I don't know, like discouraged. I don't know how to make enough time for Beachbody. And I recognize me being just like in my first month and a half of it or whatever. I'm still in a big learning curve. Just like, anyways, I was just feeling kind of discouraged and like, I want to go for this. But I like, specifically over the holidays, my kids aren't in Mother's Day out where it's a little bit crazier. We're traveling, kind of jumped in at a crazier point. So, but it's like my mind was like, I don't know how to do it myself, or like, I'm like spinning my wheels. And then I just kind of felt like Holy Spirit prompt me, like, are you going to trust me with this? Like right now you can't see how it's going to work and you jumped in at a crazier time. Are you going to trust me to like lead you? Are you going to trust me to like take care of it? Are you going to trust that because you then post on Saturday and Sunday, when you post on Monday, there's still going to be people who see it, kind of thing? Like, I don't know. It was like the Lord asking me to like open my hand again with the Beachbody stuff. And it's like, the whole reason I'm jumping in is to help me take care of me and my family. And then part of one of the Lord's giftings for me is just an encourager. And so it's like, heck yes, I can like encourage people to jump in, and I don't know. So it was just encouraging, like, it's how easily I try to like grab onto things and make them happen or feel like it's all on me, but it's not all on me. I just like give it a good go. So the balance between working hard, going for it, and then when crazy stuff happens, like letting go and be like, Lord, you got to show up. I need you to show up, and I got to trust you with this. So
yeah,
that's part, just what you shared, that kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah. I feel like that was like my whole last year learning that. And I told Miguel, I was like, I feel like, because I think I told you like my word last year was like favored, not forced.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I feel like it should just be my word again this year. I said, or maybe it's just my life like value of like, this is how I need to live my life, because it's so ingrained in me. I'm like, okay, like even like whether it's with Beachbody or whether it's like with mine and Miguel's finances, because we're self-employed and sometimes it's crazy, you know, whatever it is, it's like, okay, we're like, you know, and it's not like I'm over here just sitting, not doing anything. It's like I'm doing the work, and then I trust the Lord to come through and not try to like, when I feel that striving place, that's not a fun place. Like, it doesn't even feel good. Like, why do we do that? You know, like, that's what I think when you said it.
Yeah.
It's like, why do we even do it? It's so much more fun when we're like chilling with him and like doing the work and enjoying it when things come through, you know? And it's funny you said that, because today in this thing it was saying, it gave the illustration from the Bible of like the Israelites getting free or whatever. And it said, how different would these stories look if people went ahead, if like the people went ahead of Moses before he put the staff in the water at the Red Sea, if they had gone out before and like trying to do it themselves, right? Yeah. Or how different would it be if when they crossed the Jordan to the promised land, like if they didn't let God lead the way? Or it was just talking about like how different would the stories be if they were trying to lead versus letting God lead them. And it's like, man, that's good. But it's so good. But okay, so let's talk about like, and I didn't like tell you this ahead of time, so if you need to think about it or you're like, I'm not sure, that's fine. But just like thoughts about the new year. Like, what do you feel like, well, thinking about 2018, what do you feel like your top growth place in 2018? This does not have to be like Beachbody or business or whatever, obviously, but just in general, what's a top growth point for you from the past year?
I feel Joy and I took a little bit of time to like ask the Lord for direction on a couple different areas, and the phrase that I got, which it's kind of funny, you're like favor not force thing, and you being like, yeah, it's probably maybe more of a life thing than a year thing. I feel like that's what I've been telling people. I got faithful intimacy, which is like just like I was made not to, yeah, just like connection with the Lord. I wasn't made to like go to the Lord to get stuff, to like hang out with God so that I can have a better life. It's like I'm hanging out with the Lord to know him and to like build relationship with him. And relationship takes time and just showing up and being okay with the process and not forcing stuff. Like relationship doesn't work very well if you're trying to force it or trying to manipulate or whatever. So that's just kind of like a re-signing up to prioritize like relationship with the Lord. And I feel like that kind of like dips into a lot of different areas. But I was telling Joey and I don't know, some other people, like it feels like it's not just a word for the year. It's like, that's what I want my life to be marked by. So, but just like a re-signing up of being consistent with the Lord. And then that Joey and I kind of talked about goals for our relationship, for marriage and for parenting. And a lot of, I think the focus on this year is like relationship, like faithfulness in relationship. So relationship with the Lord first and foremost. And then with Joey, like we're signing up to do date nights, prioritize that once a week. And then we, parenting decided, what if we like both read separate books, and every time we like hit a nugget of like, oh, this is so good, we shared it with each other and tried to share a nugget at least once a week. So you don't just, it's not like read a chapter a week, it's like read until you get a nugget and sit on it and share it. So I think that's kind of goal wise or focus wise for this year.
That's awesome. Me and Miguel went through a stage, we haven't done it in a while, but like where we were reading books and we would sit at night and like read our respective books to each other for a little while. Because, you get into a book and you're like, this is so good. You need to be reading this. But they're like, okay, I don't want to, They're not in it. And so like we were reading it and it was fun. But we need to do that again. But I like that, just like sharing little points of it. But that was the next question. What's your area of improvement for 2019? So I'll share mine. Yeah. I feel like a growth point was just more self-discipline in 2018. And it honestly, like, I've told so many people this, I attribute it to starting the 80-Day Obsession last January because it was such a disciplined program. Like, the eating plan was so intense as far as, like, it was time nutrition. So, like, you ate certain containers at certain times a day around your workout. And so it took a lot of planning. And then it was super focused. It was 80 days, which is really long. And a lot of, people all over the world were doing it. So, like, you get on social media and you see tons of people. It just felt like a huge community. But also, I think just the discipline of the eating and the working out every day. Because, like, I'm pretty sure I may have, like, moved one day and, like, changed the rest day. But I didn't miss one 80-day program. And it was, like, I've never done that. And, like, that they were intense. They were, like, hour-long programs. It was a lot. But I feel like just doing all that attributed to me wanting to be more disciplined in other areas. Like, it just, like, fell off into other places of, like, spending time with the Lord, or I started reading books again, which I haven't done in forever. And now, like, this year I finished, like, 6 or 7 books, which is a lot for me, and, like, felt really good. And I was just more on top of, like, taking care of myself. Self-care in general. Waking up early was a big one. Like, majority of the week I'm waking up earlier than my family. On most occasions, towards the end of the year, I think I kind of got into like a little bit more of a sleep-in habit, but it was always on my mind. That was one thing I told Miguel. It was like, if that and spend time with the Lord, like, I don't go like 3 weeks and then I'm like, oh, maybe I should wake up early again, or, oh, I haven't spent any time with the Lord. It's like, no, it's like, oh, today felt weird, it's because I didn't like wake up early and spend time with the Lord. I was very aware of like those things, and I feel like it really impacted just my entire life. And so that was good. Business wise, I feel like something that helped was I guess after the Beachbody trip we went on in April, the free trip we went on to Mexico, it really like propelled my business forward. And I saw a lot of growth, like doubling my income, sometimes tripling what I was making like January, February, March throughout the year. And I rank advanced, just getting more coaches, helping more people. And so it's just been really fun to see that growth. And so I'm kind of ready for like 2019 to see the next point of growth with that. But top improvement for 2019, I think, was the consistency piece that I talked about. Just wanting to be more consistent. With, our like big team leader, Michelle Myers, the one that made that app. She works this way. She always says like, show up for the one, which we know like biblically too, but it's like, that's freaking hard when you like, even like the legacy mindset group, which is just the nutrition group, like people just aren't as engaged right now. And it's like, it's hard to be engaged when other people aren't engaged, it's hard to like, wake up at 6 a.m. and not know if anyone's going to be able to call or whatever. But it's like, I feel like the Lord's calling me to that. So I want to do that. And I feel like I'll see the fruits of it when I do that as well. So there's that. So, okay. Next question. 2 more questions. What's the top personal development, anything that you've been reading, listening to, something you like, or like, this is good, whether it's one thing or it's a whole podcast or a whole book? And what's one that's been a top one you've done recently, and what's one you're doing right now, I guess?
Well, self-development in general, haven't done at all, really, except from joining Beachbody. Since they push it, it's like, okay, yeah, let's jump into this. So I haven't probably the one I'm doing right now, and the top one, because it's really the only self-development stuff I've been doing, has been like listening to Rachel Hollis stuff. And I haven't even read a book of hers yet, which I'm similar, like you said, reading 6 or 7 books is a big deal for you. Like, that's awesome.
I saw someone say they read like 65 books and they were like, or 60 something, and they were like 69 books and they were 6 short of their 75 book goal for the year. And I was like, girl, I'm at like 6 or 7 and I'm over here celebrating. Like, what? That's so many books.
That's funny. Yeah. So I even like remember you and Kelly at different points sharing like what you're reading and how awesome it's been. I'm like, you know what? I should probably read a book or something. So it's been a while, probably college, since I read an entire book.
Yeah.
Anyways, but I back in like October, they were doing their like last 90-day thing, where the last 90 days of the year being like the best, whatever. So, and I had actually like had this idea of like, I kind of had a funk of like, I don't like setting New Year's resolutions so that I can just feel crappy about them after I haven't done them. Like I did them in January and that's it, kind of thing. And so the thought was, I think from the Lord, was like, what if I just start right now? Like, what if I just finish the year strong instead of like putting all this emphasis on like my hope in January and myself? I don't know. And then I stumbled across her stuff and I was like, hey, they're doing exactly what I was thinking of doing. So that kind of like gave me the gumption to kind of jump in.
Yeah.
But anyway, so like just listening to random stuff on YouTube from her, or I listened to some of their like Rise Together podcasts. Just like, one, she's just really funny and quirky, and I'm quirky, and I'm like, girl, yes. Yeah. So that's been a helpful place. And then specifically to Beachbody, I've been like going through, I guess this is the Facebook group, like maybe the 411, or it's like maybe the champions page.
Yeah.
And it's more of like a learning thing. Like there's a lot of stuff I really don't know about. And I think because when I signed up just like as a member, I wasn't on Facebook, so I wasn't in like a accountability group or even in the Legacy Warriors group. So I think I kind of missed out on kind of learning it as I was just a member. So anyways, I feel like I'm like still learning a ton. But those videos, just hearing from different people, like how to spice up your challenge groups, or how to tricks that I did when I was just part-time instead of full-time with Beachbody. So I've just been listening to those, and like seriously, like it's like a 20-minute video and it takes me 40 or 50 minutes because I'm like pausing it and like typing all the notes.
That's
So
awesome.
that's been it's been really encouraging, like, oh, this is so cool, like I can do this. And but I think I maybe get stuck in, since I'm such a newbie, I like don't want to go until I like really know all of it or something. And so it's like Joey was telling me, he was like, maybe you should just like invite people, Transform 20 stuff, and kind of give that your first like run or whatever. And then like basically I was like, I just don't know how to start. And he was like, you don't have to start yet. Because Joey knows me and my like slower processing / wanting to be all in. It was like, do Transform 20, invite people into that. And then once you've kind of gotten a little more familiar with everything, start. Because I have some ideas of like doing like a maybe free community, like fitness community thing.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know. So, but I don't, and then doing maybe challenge groups that are like Joanna was saying, she didn't know she wanted to do Transform 20 specifically because it's maybe more high intensity. So I'm thinking, well, you don't have to do that. We can just be accountable for, and I have some other people who've said that, like, or don't have enough money right now to jump all the way in, but I want to like keep connection with them or whatever. So like, so from watching the Beachbody videos, it's giving me a ton of ideas that I'm like, don't know how to like
put it into action.
Yeah. Or actually I do, like I have ideas and I am like starting to like organize and take action steps, but it's like, it's just like kind of like a birthing process. Is like the baby's not born after 2 days. It's like, it takes 9 months. And so I'm kind of like, I want it to happen right now. Like, let's get the group launch right now. And it's going to take some time. So
yeah, I get that. That's awesome.
Barf. There you go.
No, that's good. And I feel like, I mean, even the book thing, I feel like there's different stages. Like during the summer, we were traveling more, so I didn't like really read books, but I listened to books, or listen. When we travel, we always listen to podcasts, me and Miguel, or whatever. But then like this fall, I was like, I need a book in my hand right now, like sitting outside by the fire or in the bathtub. I'm like, I need a book. So I like went to Kelly's house. I was like, okay, I need a book. And that's just gave me that bittersweet book, which was so good. And I've like been reading again now. And so like, I'm like loving the like book in my hand. So I'll say probably my top book was that was the first book I started with, which was Dreaming with God by Bill Johnson. So good. I need to like get it for all of y'all and send it to y'all because I just think it's so good. And it's just encouraging, and like it just shows you like the ministry side of business. Like, sometimes there's still like this false belief that like ministry looks like some kind of ministry, like how is Beachbody like serving the Lord, and it's like, I don't know, it just like drew that out, and like the dreaming stuff, it was just so good. And so good book. And then right now I just started reading well, it's more of a parenting book, but actually Bill Johnson again, his new parenting book, Raising Giant Killers. And then just trying to listen to podcasts for like the business development piece. There's some like I guess they're live videos, they're YouTube videos, but from a couple of Beachbody coaches that teach you like a power hour of how to like work the business well. And so I'm trying to like dial into those and use those to like work my business. And so it's kind of what I'm doing. But okay, last question. So what is in business, what's your stretch goal, your big, something that will challenge you for 2019? And if you don't have to think the whole year, but like maybe the first quarter or whatever.
Yeah.
And if you want me to go on, you think I can?
Yeah, you should go.
Okay. I was like, I didn't mind because I thought about this. Sorry. Next time if I have questions, I'll mine is honestly, me and Miguel have been talking a lot about like just his business. Well, we're trying to launch our snack company, and he's working Simply Stool, which is his carpentry construction, and he's gotten into saying yes to a lot of things that he doesn't love there out of necessity to make money and support a family. And it's kind of draining on him. And like, he's like, most days I wake up and I'm not very excited about what I'm doing. I'm like, that sucks, and I'm a big believer of like, we only live once, like do the things you love, but there is pieces of that he loves, but he doesn't get to do the pieces he loves all the time. Yeah. So I know it's been a goal of mine, but really this year I want to like focus on increasing my Beachbody income to where it supports us more heavily so that he doesn't have to work so much into that. Yeah. And he can give more time to like our snack company like he desires and things like that, and just do the things he enjoys, not say yes to every little job. Yeah. So that's that. That's mine.
I think maybe short term, like for January, and I don't know if this is stretching. It's kind of interesting because it's like, for me, being new, it's like I don't really have a lot of like, well, this is what I tried and didn't work, or this is what I did last year and this is what I want to change. But I think it's going to be like me, maybe for January, kind of trying out what are my like, how many hours of the day am I trying to spend on Beachbody? Mm-hmm. Because I think I can, because I experienced this when I was teaching. I want to do it really well, and so I can let it like take over a lot of my day, or a lot of even like falling asleep. I've learned when I was teaching, having like a little thing on my phone or a note on this side of my bedside table to like jot down like all the brain dump stuff that I have.
Yeah.
But I can easily, I would really like to have, I do Beachbody like in the morning before the boys get up, or on Tuesday, Thursday from this time to this time, to really kind of give myself some, structure on, hey, I gave a good 2 hours today or 30 minutes today because it's Monday, and allow myself to be like peaceful about you are putting in the time that you can put in. It's like, I see full-time people and they're doing a lot, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. It's like, oh, she's doing this. It's like, that's not really realistic for me right now, especially, so I think for January specifically would be kind of try to nail down more of a schedule. I also think I'm more trial and error, so I'm going to have to like try it for a week and see and kind of tweak it or whatever. Yeah. So just like what works for me right now as far as time and a schedule for when I'm going to do Beachbody stuff. Yeah. And then like kind of dreaming big about probably like my goal for February for this week, or for January, would be like a goal of like how many people to try to connect with, like maybe which maybe I need help dreaming bigger, but it's like, what if I just got 3 people in this next week to sign up for Transform 20? Or maybe I've got 10 people that can't commit right now for money, but I can maybe start a small like accountability group with, I don't know, like a free something to kind of experiment with, I guess, or I don't know. So I think I probably need like a scheduling goal, or like, this is what I want to do, and a connection goal. So
yeah, that's good. I would say, what was I going to say about that? One thing I learned from one of my coaching friends this year, just watching her, and I went to Mexico with her. She's on our big team. She's been really big about that, like really trying to, but it's like a weekly, daily thing of like, I have to refocus. She's like, I love what I do. I could do it all day, but like having that place of like scheduling her time, and then trusting the Lord to like maximize the time and like maximize what she does. I'll be done in just a couple minutes. I'll be out. And it's been impressive because she's done that, and she's like, her big thing has been like abiding in the Lord and like trusting him. And like, she's like, today I spent way too much time, or, she'll like admit it. She talks about it a lot on her stories and shares, and it's encouraging. It's like, she's like, okay, I'm cutting it off now, I'm done for the day or whatever. And it's like, but this year she's like advanced her business. Like the growth is huge. And she's like, it's crazy because it's like, I feel like I've done less, but I trust the Lord more. And so it's just like such a testimony of that, of like what we've been talking about here, of like letting the Lord lead you, and it's like, just like, okay, that's what we need. That's what we all need, because it's like, even if you looked at like full-time coaches, I could look at that and like, I could work the business full-time. It's like, do I even want what they have? Because like my values for like my family may look different than theirs, and like, it's so easy to want to compare what other people are doing. But it's like, no, what's the Lord say I need to do?
Yeah.
And then trust that he's going to do in my business what I desire, my dreams are, what he's saying it should be with what I put in as I listen, but yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to pray and we can finish up. I have kids that keep coming in here. My nephew's helping me print stuff. I asked him before we started this where the printer paper was, and he just came back in to put it in for me. I guess he saw I hadn't done it yet. But, okay. So, Lord, I just thank you for time together. I thank you just for encouraging us and reminding us that you are the ultimate and the best leader for us, our business, our families. And I just pray just maximize time to spend with Beachbody, but that you will just bring favor in the time that we do spend as we trust you for this business. And I just pray that you show us more and more just the vision that you have for this business for each of us and for just how to use our giftings in this place, Lord. And we just thank you and bless Jamie's day. Amen.